Hi, Brooke here with another fun tutorial from PhillipsFiberArt. Today we're making a runner called the 45 Twist. It uses the Braided Twist tool and book combo, as well as any 45 degree. We especially like the Squedge 45 degree. And we're going to get started with this. We're using a 10-inch square pack from Canvas Studios. It is just gorgeous, isn't it? I love how putting together the different colors gives it a little bit more dimension than just a plain single piece of fabric. Let me show you how it's done.
Let's start out with our 10-inch pack. We're going to take our light, medium, and dark and sort it into 3 groups. On page 14, you'll find our graphic. You've got A, top and bottom, and those are going to be our dark pieces. Now our pink pieces are going to be our middle A piece. Our 2 lights will be our B piece. You can see in this diagram we have H, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, H. Our H fabric is hidden. You can choose any throwaway fabric to place in H. Now let's figure out our diagram. Grab your insert and let's label black for black, gray for white, and pink for pink. Keep the sheet handy and you'll stay organized. Let's get to cutting our wedges. With the Squedge 45, align it to the 7 1/4 inch mark along the bottom of your square. Cut along the outside edge. You can actually get 2 out of 1 10-inch square. Flip your tool over and again cut around the outside. Once you have all your pieces cut, we need to arrange them. We'll start out with this dark one. Grab your label sheet so that you remember how we're going to lay these things out. 1, 2, 3, and you're hidden. There's our first half circle. Keep following the diagram. Each wedge is placed, and that quarter circle, I'll get to that later. Now we're on to the pink. This is that beautiful center swish that makes it all pull in together. Gee, I wish my table was bigger. That's okay though. We just keep working down the line, aligning each wedge. Now we're going to need to make some labels. Our label sheet in the book does include labels, but I like to sometimes have specific ones when I've played. So we'll have A, B, and A. I labeled that middle one A1 for our pink. The next thing is I'm going to put a line that leads me to the center. So under our top 2, a low line, and the other one, a top line. Now we need to pin our pairs. This is where accuracy in our labeling is really going to come in handy. These are our A pieces with our line to the top. Grab your next set. At this point I realized I should have an arrow telling me where the center is, so I did add that on. There's our next label. Remember that arrow points to the outside. Staying organized is really going to help. As we come into our end cap, we want to make sure we keep our quarter circle with the same stack. There we go. Let's sew these pairs together. Now that we have our pairs sewn together, let's start making our half circles. Lay your pairs out. Align the center seam allowances, and we're going to start sewing 1/4 inch away from the edge. That's going to leave that little snip like you did on the basic. All right, let's get to cutting. We're starting with our end cap. Find the B line, and we're going to find where the seam allowance, that dotted line, meets up with the very center line. Now align that point you found on your tool onto that center seam of your sewn together pieces. Align the B to the edge and we're going to cut along the inside of the arc. See how you've got that little piece? Here's where your quarter circle comes in. Pin and gather up so that it aligns to that edge. Sew a 1/4 of an inch, and there you go. There's your first piece to the end cap. Cut along the outside edge, and you have a half circle. Now let's create the other half circles. Take your tool and align it to the bottom edge and the center line of your tool along that center seam. Cut around the outside. Now let's sew those two together to create our end cap. Notice it kind of looks like a tree skirt. Now I've gone ahead and sewn these to our backing with the fusible fleece, and now we've got to clip the backing just like we did in our basic. Don't forget, we have lots of other videos that you can check out. It's amazing how many that we actually do have, even a full tutorial. Time to lay things out. So we're going to place our end cap and our first half circle tip to clip, and we'll pin with 3 pins each time. This is where being precise is really going to help you have the best final product. Notice the up, down, up, down. That's how we're going to lay out each half circle. We want to make sure that they go in the correct order. Did you notice that these are our white B pieces? And they're layering on top of the previous one. Now we'll sew along the center seam. Now here's a video of us actually sewing it. Notice we use 1/4 inch seam allowance, taking the pins out slowly so to keep everything aligned as best as we can. Adjust as needed. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end of this seam. It'll see some wear and tear as you twist and turn your runner. Now that we have it sewn, let's layer in our next set. Here's our A fabrics, and they're going to go up, down, up, down. Notice this time we tucked everything under. Same pinning technique, tip to clip and 3 pins each. Continue pinning down the entire length. Now you might be wondering, how are we going to get in there to sew that? Well, don't worry, I can show you. The biggest thing is don't be afraid to move things out of the way. So pull your piece across, and see, you can just pull it out of the way. Sorry for the lighting issues. I was using my phone. Again, we're going to sew a 1/4 of an inch and just adjust the background as needed. Fabric is so flexible that way. Backstitch at the beginning and the end. And you've done it. There's a seam down both sides, and the center of it actually can open up and you can see through. Now for the magic, we're going to twist. Take your first end cap and twist. Twist, and one more time, and there it is. That is the braided twist. And look, the pink is still hidden. Now to get it to lay as flat as possible, you're going to have to make a little bit of adjustment with that center seam. Little extra bulk with the 45, but it'll be okay. It still lays beautifully smooth. Flatten it out, and once you're happy, fuse down the edges with fusible tape.
There you have it, the 45 twist. Isn't it cool? I mean, definitely something a little different. And I mean, everybody's got those 10-inch packs. So many different fabric companies have come out with them, and it really makes it something that you really want to get to, because there's so many different pieces of fabric and they all go together just perfectly. So Go find yourself a 10-inch pack of squares, grab your braided twist and a 45, and let's get to playing. I'd love to see what you create. Come visit us at PhillipsFiberArt.com for this product and much more.